We're now in a very rare winter's warm day, and the honeybees here in this hive have all come out because they've just sensed it's warm to come out. The bees in this hive here's a bee here which has got a little bit of white pollen on it. That's probably ivy or something like that it's got out and collected. The bees will stay in the hive all winter. They've collected food which they will eat gradually and through the winter, and then in the odd warm sunny day like today, they will come out for a cleansing flight, and then they will go back in again and stay in maybe for a couple of weeks if it's dark. Honeybees are the only managed pollinators that we have in this country, apart from actually bumblebees that people use in greenhouses. Pollinators are important because they are useful for ensuring a good set, particularly of oilseed rape. Oilseed rape is wind pollinated, but you get a much more even set if you have insects pollinating it. Similarly, soft fruit, apples and pears are very important to be pollinated by insects. If the insect population declines, then you can get into a situation where the fruit is not pollinated, and we won't starve or anything like that. Einstein's statement of we'll all die out in 5 years if there are no honeybees is not really true. But what we would end up doing is eating all the grey foods, cereals, bread, potatoes, things like that. We are losing populations of bumblebees, certainly, and I think the issue is not so much if that population disappeared, would another one come in its place? The question is, why are we losing them? Pesticides are used despite their danger to bees, because at the end of the day the country needs to produce its food, and farmers want to increase the yield, and they over successive generations they have increased the yield that they have produced. It's, I think, only in recent times that they've realised that there are some indirect effects. The current debate about neonicotinoids is not that honeybees are dying directly from the application of neonics on crops. It's more that there are indirect effects. In years gone by, DDT and whatever else, it was patently obvious that the bees were dying as a result of the pesticides being used, because you could see a pile of dead bees outside the colony. I think the emphasis is to ensure that bees don't die out, and I would say it's not bees, it's all pollinators. That the same drivers that are reducing them are the same for all of them. The general public can leave little areas, don't tidy everything up. If you have a huge area of a lawn with no flowers whatsoever, then you're providing no food for pollinators. People can plant flowers which are rich in nectar and pollen. These are often the smaller flowers, and if people can do one thing in particular, I would say in the early spring, plant snowdrops, crocuses and things like that. That's a critical time for pollinators, right in the early spring, and if we can provide an early source of food for them, that really will help them get going. You can go out during the day, rush around and do this, that and the other, but when you are opening up your beehive, trying to understand what's going on inside here and manage them properly, then the day-to-day cares of the world you have to forget about. You are concentrating on managing your bee colony in a sustainable way, and that's a great relaxation.